I'd love you to welcome the one and only Mr. Cedrick Harris, joining us from Tampa, Florida. Hi, Cedrick.
Woo! Andy, Miguel, what's going on? Happy Saturday, guys. What's happening?
It's
Oh my
going great. It's
God.
going good. We just had Cheryl. Cheryl is amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, guys who don't, any of you people do not know who Cedric is. Now, I mentioned that I first met Cheryl in 2015, and strangely enough, it's pure coincidence, but we actually were both part of Cedric's team for a network marketing company. So it's all weird circles that it's all come together today. Um, I've known this gentleman, known of him more to the point for since then, and I always looked at what he did, and he always did things well, A, with passion, with professionalism, B, and C, he always put his own stamp, his own style, and he did things differently to a lot of people. He kind of blazed trails when people were doing things, people weren't doing what he was doing. He was always ahead of everybody. So, Cedric, what are you going to talk to us about today, please?
Today, we're going to talk about 7 reasons why entrepreneurs fail and how to avoid it. We're going to drop a couple of boulders on some people today, so I'm excited.
But that's amazing, absolutely amazing. Well, I'm not going to stand your way any further. Cedric, please take the floor and do what you do best. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Let's rock. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be for everybody that's out there. First of all, I'm excited to be inside of the metaverse. We're actually inside of the metaverse. I know some people are looking at this streaming on social media, as well as there's quite a few of you that are inside of the metaverse as well. Shout out to my man Kawan Mayo for breakdancing all over Cheryl's head, all over the place. You know, we've got some really true phenomenal people that all of you are going to be able to pay attention to today and learn from. And I actually feel some kind of way following Cheryl, because Cheryl absolutely crushed it. And I watched the whole thing, and now I've got to step my game up a couple of times even more. So shout out to Cheryl for opening up the show here. Shout out to all the other speakers that are going to be coming behind us as well. And I'm going to ask everybody a quick favor before we get started. You know, a lot of people tend to think that they can multitask. One of the reasons why your computer is moving slow is because you have 72 tabs open on your computer right now. A lot of people have 72 tabs open inside of their brains right now. And right now you're trying to focus on Pandora, you're trying to focus on WhatsApp, you're trying to focus on Facebook, you're trying to put something on Instagram, you're trying to feed your dog, feed your fish, feed your cat, feed your rat. You're trying to do all these different things. And I want to ask if you could just focus for this time frame. Just focus. There might be 1 or 2 things that you pick up from this specific talk that could change your outlook as an entrepreneur, that could do something dramatic inside of your life. So I want you to literally just focus. If you have a pen and pad, grab one really quickly. I've got a couple of notes that I put aside here, but I'm going to be speaking a lot from the heart, because one of the things I like to do when I'm doing an event is, instead of me creating all of the content before the event, I like to meditate before the event. I like to literally meditate before the event and get my head in a certain headspace to know exactly what God is inserting in me that I need to deliver to everybody. So he inserted some things into me. I put down a couple of notes on some things, and we're just going to drop a couple of bombs. So let's get right into it. 7 reasons, maybe 8, maybe 9, who knows? I think I might add 1 or 2 of them on top of it. But let's start with 7. 7 reasons why entrepreneurs fail and how you can avoid it. Now, these are not in any particular order, but it's very important that you understand why people fail, for number 1. And for number 2, it's very important for you to understand how you can avoid it at the same time. It makes no sense to identify a problem and then not provide a solution. You know, so many people will spend so much time on problems and not spend the time on the solution. When people like to call me with problems, it's like, hey, you got like 2 minutes on your problem. Let's spend the time on the solution. Because everybody has problems. Everybody's got problems in life. but let's really focus on the solutions. Because guess what entrepreneurs do? Entrepreneurs focus on solutions and they solve problems. Some of the richest and wealthiest people that you know that are entrepreneurs, they're literally solving some of the biggest problems. Period. End of story. So let's get right into it. Number one. The number one reason why entrepreneurs fail and how to avoid it, number one is that they have not identified their gift. They have not identified their gift. You might be 20 years young, you might be 30 years young, you might be 40 years young, you might be 50 years young, and you have not identified your gift. Let me give you an example. You see, Colonel Sanders had a gift. Colonel Sanders had a gift, and that gift was a recipe that he created for Kentucky Fried Chicken. That was a gift. Now, that gift wasn't identified and really established until he was in his early 70s. Now, don't we love some finger licking good Kentucky Fried Chicken? What if he didn't identify his gift? What if he really truly didn't identify that gift that he could deliver to the world? And now we have Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay. Now, Colonel Sanders is no longer with us, Lord rest his soul. However, his gift lives on now, doesn't it? Everybody become a bobblehead. His gift lives on. Have you identified what your gift is? You know, a lot of people tend to think that God blessed this particular person, or God blessed this particular person, or God blessed this particular person. God blessed us all. God blessed us all. The reality of it is that you have to realize what is that gift that he blessed you with that might be better than someone else. What is that gift? What literally is it? The two most important days of your life. The two most important days of your life, the day that you were born and the day that you figure out why. The day that you were born and the day that you figure out why. You see, God already knew who you were going to be before you were born. You see, there was this time frame. I don't know how old you were, but maybe it was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. I don't know. Just bear with me within this story. Whether you believe it or not, it probably happened. So just bear with me. You know, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, whatever it was, right? You know, your mother and your father got together and back 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, you know, things were planned. Roll with me for a second. Things were planned. You know, maybe, just maybe Tuesday was a special day for your dad. And your mom told your dad before he went to work, tonight is going down. And your dad was all excited at work all day long at the plant, at the ship work, whatever he was doing, putting in those 8 hours, just smiling from ear to ear, had this big gigantic grin on his face, so big that you could take a banana and stick it in it sideways, because he knew tonight it's going down, because 30, 40, 50 years ago, things were what? They were scheduled. And your dad came home and he was all super nice and, you know, cleaned up the house and helped with dinner and did all these things. And at 10 o'clock at night, when the kids were put to bed, it went down. And your dad got excited for a whole whopping 4 minutes, a whole whopping 6 minutes, a whole whopping 7 minutes. Your dad got excited and boom, you were created and you came into the world. See, there was a gift that God already knew that you had, even when your dad was excited. But here's what some people don't realize. You see, if I kind of put this in the terms of network marketing, there were 10,000 people on the left and 10,000 people on the right. There were 10,000 brothers on the left and 10,000 brothers on the right. And because you're freaking special, you were the one that got to the egg. You, not the 10,000 brothers on the left, not the 10,000 brothers on the right. You are freaking special. So you're here now. It's 20 years later. It's 30 years later. It's 40 years later. It's 50 years later, whatever it may be. But have you identified what is that gift that God put inside of you? What is that thing that you can do so good naturally? Maybe it's bike riding. Maybe it's sewing. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's speaking. Maybe it's building. Maybe it's being a carpenter. Maybe it's being a contractor. I don't know what it is. But here's what's so key. If right now you are going through some sort of financial struggle right now, you've got a couple of challenges that might be happening in your life. There might be a good chance that you haven't identified what your gift is. You see, entrepreneurs tend to have a bad case of squirrel, 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 squirrel. They chase and chase and chase and chase and chase. And here's what I figured out about money. The more you chase it, the more it eludes you. Hello, somebody write that down. The more you chase it, the more it eludes you. But when you're sharing your gift, when you are impacting people with the gift that you have, no matter what that gift is, money starts to chase you. And trust me when I tell you, you won't run. You will stop and collect. And it'll be like a freaking circle that you flipped a coin in and you had a wish. And all of a sudden, money started flowing. But the only way that happens, if you can sit still and identify this gift. You know, I was watching a movie, King Richard, on an airplane not too long ago. And I was watching how Venus and Serena Williams' dad was so focused on training them to be the best tennis players in the world because he knew that they had a gift. He knew that they had a gift. Now, within that gift, what did their dad do? He kept honing and honing and honing and honing that gift. You see, in order to be a professional and in order to be great at anything, it takes 10,000 hours. If you think that you're going to avoid paying your 25 cents at the door, good luck with that. If you think that you're going to be a master at something, 3,000 hours later, good luck with that. 5,000 hours later, good luck with that. 7,000 hours later, good luck with that. Can you get lucky on something? Sure, you can get lucky on anything. But have you ever noticed that luck isn't consistent? Ooh, bars. Have you ever noticed that luck isn't consistent? See, you want things to be what? Consistent. You want the money to be chasing you consistently. Not one time, not twice, not three times, over and over and over and over. Let me know when you get the hang of it. And over and over and over and over again. And that all comes down to you putting in those 10,000 hours. That all comes down to you identifying, what am I really, really good at? What is that gift that I have? What is that gift? And how do I hone that gift? How do I become better at that gift? How can I deliver that gift to more people? You know, Cheryl earlier was talking about the metaverse and how to transition and understand, hey, we all do attraction marketing and that's great. But the reality of it is that what if you were doing attraction marketing on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, and the metaverse, and all these different places, right? And you take the gift that you have and you are sharing it in all of these different places. You have no idea who might identify you. You have no idea that one life-changing call that could happen. You have no idea that one life-changing WhatsApp message that could happen. Who would have ever known that a little young blonde kid that could sing really good from the beautiful country of Canada could upload a couple of videos on YouTube, and then he's identified by one of the top R&B singers in the world, Usher, because he put his content out because he identified his gift and he started sharing his gift. Now we fast forward 3 decades later, you know him as Justin Bieber. We fast forward 3 decades later, you know him as a young man that is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you happen to be a hundredaire right now, because there's a such thing. If you happen to be a thousandaire right now, because there's a such thing. If you happen to be a millionaire right now, if you happen to be a multimillionaire, I want you to think about the difference between millionaires and multimillionaires, because a lot of hundredaires and thousandaires haven't identified their gift, and they get caught up with the squirrel syndrome. Squirrel, 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 squirrel. Here's another one. Here's another one. Turn off the DJ Khaled. And another one. Identify that gift. Spend that time on that gift. Hone that gift. Become the best of the best within that gift. Believe that you are the best of the best within that gift, because your brain doesn't know any difference. Your brain only knows what you feed it. So if you feed it that you're the best of the best within that gift, then it's your subconscious's job to prove you correct. Let's get into number 2. The second reason why entrepreneurs fail is because they have not identified their kryptonite. Now we're going to flip it. Number 1 is, oh my goodness, I haven't identified my gift. Number 2, they haven't identified their kryptonite. Now, this is going to hurt a couple of your feelings, but if you've been following me for any length of time, you know I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. So if your feelings get hurt, it's okay. Wipe it off, because life goes on. I want you to think about the movie Superman, and a lot of people think the movie Superman was really about superpowers, and for the most part, a percentage of it was about superpowers. Somebody that was Clark Kent and could jump off of a building and turn into Superman and fly and save people and do all these different things. And all of us have a Clark Kent inside of us. We also have a Superman inside of us. But I want you to think about this. You see, there was a parable in that movie that I believe was more powerful than the whole superpower thing. That was more powerful than you leaping from building to building and saving people. You see, the thing that was more powerful than all is when kryptonite got around Superman. You see, when kryptonite got around Superman, it zapped his superpowers. Did you hear that? In the words of Tupac, am I clear enough for you? When Superman got around kryptonite, it zapped his superpowers. So what did his enemies do? They did everything in their power to bring this green stone around Superman to zap his superpowers. What is your kryptonite? You know, I remember Steve Harvey telling a story about how some people think that drugs or alcohol induces their gift. And the interesting thing about that is that when you were created, when God created you, there was no drug or no alcohol needed to induce the superpower that he already instilled inside of you. However, there is some things that can be kryptonite that can zap it. So let me have a transparent moment with everybody, because a lot of leaders and speakers don't have transparent moments. They want to act like they're this, they're that. They talk all this good stuff, blah, 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 and then act like they're not human. Yeah. Tell me how that's working out for you. Let me be human for everybody here for a second. You see, I identified that my kryptonite was weed. Did he say weed on the freaking metaverse? Yes. Did he say that on Facebook? Yes. Did he say weed? Yes. Marijuana, weed, blunts, whatever you want to call it. I identified that my kryptonite was weed. Weed did not make me creative. Now, before somebody comes out here really quickly and says, well, hold on for a second, said I can write better rhymes when I'm high. I can do this better when I'm high. I can do that better when I'm high. Bullshit. You can do it anyway. You think that the weed or the alcohol is making you better. That's what you think. If you think that you don't need it either and you're better, your mind is right with that as well. You see, when I figured out that it was my kryptonite, I figured out that I was becoming a mute. I like to train. I like to be on the phone. I like to do videos. I like to do what I'm doing right now. I live freaking for it. I live for this right now. But when I was high, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to get on no Facebook Live. I don't want to get on no video. Huh? When you haven't had a job in almost 20 years, you can wake up in the morning and wake and bake. Oh, let me roll over scrambled eggs and cheese, a cup of coffee, and a blunt. Lunchtime. Oh, let's have a ham sandwich and a blunt. Nighttime. Let's have a shot of Tito's and a blunt. Zapping my superpowers. So then I'm not sharing any content. I'm not writing. I'm not preparing for the day. I'm waking up later than usual. I'm not swimming the laps that I need to swim. I'm not doing the things that are necessary in order for me to deliver the gift. Some of you might be people. It might be people that are kryptonite. You might have to do certain things in your life to adjust. Okay? It might be the people in your neighborhood that are kryptonite. You might have to do some things to adjust. You ever get around people sometimes and all they can find is something negative to say? Like literally, that's all they can find is something negative to say. Kryptonite. Listen, I love my brother. I really, really do love my brother. But I've come to the conclusion sometimes that my brother can be a walking piece of kryptonite. You know, I got my daughter a car. I got my daughter a car a couple of years ago. You know, this was maybe 6, 7 years ago. You know, I got my daughter this car, and it wasn't even a new car. It was actually a car that I had for myself. It was like a 2008 Lexus GS 350. It only had 60,000 miles on it. It was black. It had chrome Lexus rims on it. It black leather interior. It was mint. I mean, this car was mint. And this was my beater car. This was the car that I drove around, and I didn't want everybody else to know it was me. It was really nice. My daughter wrecked her car, and I said, well, I guess I got to give her the Lexus. So I drove that Lexus from Florida to Virginia to give to my daughter. And before I went to go see my daughter, because she didn't know that I was bringing her the car, I stopped at my parents' house. And my brother was there. And my brother said, she don't need a car that nice. Why did you give her a car that nice? And I'm looking at him like, bro, do you hate in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening? Like sometimes you should drink sugar-free Haterade because the Haterade that you're drinking is full of liquid diabetes. That's your freaking niece, my guy. That's your niece. If I wanted to buy her a freaking Bentley, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I wouldn't do that though because she's wrecked 2 cars. I love her, but that would probably be a bad idea. But I bring this up because the kryptonite started oozing, and I'm like, see, this is why I don't talk to you. Instead of you being happy for your niece, you find something negative to say. Instead of you being happy, you find something negative to say. You see, there's people around you right now that all they can find is something negative. Be conscious of that. Be conscious of that. It might be a girlfriend. It might be a boyfriend. It might be a husband. It might be a wife. It might be a significant other. It might be a boss. It might be a neighbor. I don't know. You know. But you have to identify that and surround yourself around things that are singing praise. Because here's the truth of the matter about life. If you want to think about kryptonite, I want you to try this particular experiment. I want you to go to Home Depot and I want you to buy 2 of the same plants. Just go spend $3 or $4 on 2 of the same plants. I want you to take both of those same plants and I want you to stick them in one window so the sunlight can hit both plants. I want you to water both plants at the same time every single day. One of the plants I want you to sing to every day. I want you to sing to one plant for 2 minutes. And then the other plant, I want you to plant, you're yelling at the other. It's getting the same amount of sunlight, it's getting the same amount of water. 30 days later, you're going to look at both plants. One plant is going to be growing and thriving, and the other plant is going to start to wither. So, what's the story in that? Humans are no different. Humans are no different. You see, kryptonite can make you wither, and kryptonite comes in different forms. Looking for this green stone. Kryptonite comes in different forms. You might find out that, hey, your kryptonite might be alcohol. But said, I don't drink that much. Okay, it's only wine after dinner. But you drink wine 7 days a week, man. You drink it to a point that you catch a buzz. And you drink it to a point that it makes you get up late. You drink it to a point that it kind of throws your rhythm off. That could be kryptonite. Pay attention to kryptonite. Kryptonite is because all of you are Superman, but some of you are walking around as Clark Kent majority of the day. Did you hear that? Some of you are walking around as Clark Kent majority of the day, and you can never put your cape on. The cape never shows up. Because the thing really, really pretty. The devil can make things, and one thing that I would tell you is that kryptonite shows up in different forms. You just have to be smart enough to identify. Number three, the third reason why entrepreneurs fail and how to avoid it is that you don't know your numbers. Oh my goodness. Everything in this world is centered around numbers. It's 12:16 p.m. It's 12:16 p.m. right now. That's a number. That's a number. Let's see if the screen comes back again. I'm dropping so many bars that so let's see here. Everything's centered around what?
Cedrick, we have a problem with your sound, I think, at the minute. I think your mic's muted.
I think Cedric's connection is having a little trouble, no?
Yeah, I think it just. Oh, he's back. He's back. Hi, Cedric. Sorry, your mic, your connection, I think, was a bit just a little dodgy. Um, your mic is
Yeah.
currently muted. Oh, you're good now. You're good now.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, sir. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Hold on. Can you see me? Because my screen is blue.
Yeah.
Now we're all right. Am I clear?
Yeah, there's a bit of a lag, but I think your voice will be fine.
Okay, we're going to continue this process and keep it going. I don't think it's my internet here. I'm pretty good. Um, I'm fully staffed on my bars. It's based on numbers, right? So as entrepreneurs, a lot of people don't know their numbers. They have these big goals, but they don't know exactly how to achieve them because they're not paying attention to the numbers and they get caught up in mundane activities. So let me give you an example. What is the daily number? If my goal is to make $30,000 a month, what is the daily number? If your goal is to make $50,000 a month, $15,000, what's the daily number? That's $500 a day. Are you doing $500 per day activities? Are you getting? I want to use some examples that people can recognize and that people can understand. Some examples that people can recognize and people can understand. Okay. Joy cutting grass. Okay. You got a quarter acre of land, a little half an acre of land, a piece that you like doing. Okay. Great. What could you be doing to create that $500 per day? $1,000 per month was your goal. What could you be doing? Okay. Think about that. Is washing your car a fuss? Why are you washing? You said you wanted to make $15,000 a month. If somebody could cut your grass for $20 a week, why are you cutting it? You said you could clean your house $1 a week. Why are you doing it? You said that you wanted to make $15,000 per month. Oh, you said you wanted to make $30,000 a month. Okay. The question is, are you activities for your goals, not mine? Those are your goals. Internet, on social media, looking at what's going on in everybody else's life. Look at Johnny, he's doing so well. Look at Mary, look at Christopher. Scrolling on Instagram, going through all these messages, spending all this time, but you're not doing $1,000 a day activities. Oh, no, Cedric. My goal is $50,000 per month. Fantastic. Fantastic. That will be $1,600 per day. People come all the time and they say, I want to make $1,000,000 this year. Man, I want to make $1,000,000. Really? That That would be a little over 5 days a week. That's 7 days a week. 7 days a week. So if you want to make $2,800 per day, you know your numbers. Very, very, very important. Extremely important. And you can avoid other things. You can hire people that can assist with those. Check this. I want to check this here really quickly just to make sure, because it keeps going black on me for whatever reason. And I know black is beautiful. It's not on my side, but not my internet. That I can promise you, because I've got bars and I'm in the same spot that I normally am doing. I'm put some sprinkle on this to slow it down. We're not going to slow this down. We're not going to slow this down. No, sir. Are you focused on your numbers? Are you doing $500 day activities if you say you want to make $15,000 a month? Are you doing $1,000 day activities because you said you want to make 30 grand a month? Are you $100 day activities because you said you wanted to make $1 million a year? Know your numbers. Others, they do not network and learn from others. Majority of the time, everywhere, likely you're not. Technically, you're not. If you're the smartest person in the room every time, did he just say that? Yep. If you are the smartest person in the room everywhere that you are all the time, whether it's Zoom, whether it's face-to-face meetings, whether it's events, you're the dumbest person in the room. Because in order to go from good to great, in order to go from good to great, it's going to take some stretch. Okay? How can you be stretched? How can you literally be stretched? You can't. I don't care how many degrees you have. I don't care if you went to Harvard. I don't care if you went to Princeton. I don't care if you played rugby. I don't care if you're a trust fund baby. Bars, daggers. I don't. You are the smartest person in the room. There's a really, really good chance that you're the dumbest person in the room. Because ego is crazy. Ego they think harder than everybody. How are you progressing? How are you learning? If you have a business that's doing $5 million a month, for an example, Do you think that you can learn from someone that's doing 15 million a month? Or is your ego too big? If you $50 million a month, do you think you can learn from someone that's doing on all occasions? But you have to be smart enough to identify that. You have to be smart enough to say, I'm going to check my ego. I'm going to check my ego so I can learn about people that something back when Noah built an ark. You know, I had this business back in the day that did this and did that and blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's great. Half of that stuff doesn't even apply to today's world. I'm talking about people that are actively building something, people that are actively doing something. If you've got a $3 million a month business and somebody has a $10 million a month business, they're actively, rooms are you breaking into? What rooms are you breaking into so you can think about that? What rooms are you breaking into? What types of so you want to strive when it comes down to growing and networking and learning from other rooms that you're uncomfortable in. Kind of like right now, I'm uncomfortable in this current room because the feed keeps breaking up. Breaking into that's stretching you, that is literally stretching you. That there's conversations that are happening that would never happen in your life. Conversations that would happen that would never happen amongst certain social media friends that you might have, or certain inbox messages that you receive or that you might be sending. Think about that. Remember the Arsenio Hall show? For those of you that, the fifth reason why so many entrepreneurs fail and how to avoid it is they do not do personal development every single day. Listen, if you drink a cup of coffee every single day, can you do personal development every single day? If you Facebook every single day, because that's what the average person does, can you do personal development for at least an hour? If you're on your lunch or an hour to do some personal development, your life today reflect how much personal development that you've actually put in your life. I'm dark again. See if it doesn't look like I'm live. We've got choppiness going on right here. I have no idea why. It's getting interesting. To do that personal development. You know what I figured out? I figured out that we as humans, we can always find time for any and everything that we want. No matter what we want, we can find time. Because 1 year from now, on this date, August the 6th, 2022, August the 6th, 2023, reflection of how much focus you gave to personal development to becoming the better version of yourself. Now competing with what this person, that person doing. The only person that you're in competition with is the person that you were yesterday. You're not in competition with anybody else. You were on yesterday. So what are you reading? What are you listening to on a regular basis? You know, in 2002, I lived in Detroit, Michigan. And I was running a very Eminem came out. So Eminem's first album had just dropped. I believe it was 2001, 2002, whenever it was. And obviously, because he's from Detroit, Eminem song. Now I noticed that there was a couple of songs I really didn't like that much. A lot of them I loved. There's a couple of them that I didn't like, but here's the whole point of the story. Even the songs that over here, you gotta love technology, but we always improvise because that's what entrepreneurs do as well. Okay, all right. So the last bullet that I was going through is that most entrepreneurs do not do personal development every single day. So I want you to think about this for a second. If you can drink a cup of coffee a day, if you can take a shot of Tito's every day, if you can go outside and exercise every day, you can actually also do an hour of personal development every single day. So don't say that I don't have time to do it, because you can find 30 minutes in the morning or 30 minutes at night. Okay, while you're sitting on the throne doing absolutely nothing, go through some personal development. Zone in on a couple of books right now, on a couple of things. Like right now, I have my team going through one of my favorite books of all time, The Greatest Secret in the World, from Og Mandino. And the transition that I'm already seeing from people less than 60 days later is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Because people are concentrating on it every single day. Okay, so I want you to think about, do I give my personal development, do I give the vigor to my own personal development that I give to someone else's? Do I give the vigor to my own life of me wanting to become the best version of myself that I'm giving to someone else or to something else? Okay, so every single day, personal development, personal development, personal development. Number six, most entrepreneurs are attached to the outcome. They are attached to the outcome. You have to not be concerned about what the outcome is. You have to marry the process. After marry the process, said I want to make $10,000 a month and I need to do it in 90 days, but you've never made $10,000 a month ever in your life. You've got to marry the process of what a $10,000 a month person does and how a $10,000 a month person reacts. Cedrick, I want to make $100,000 a month. Okay, you got to marry the process, because it doesn't go from 0 to 100 grand a month tomorrow, unless it's illegal. I mean, good luck with that. I mean, you don't want to be trading your booty for Bitcoin in jail. That's not a good idea. Okay, so be smart. Be smart every day. Am I marrying the process, divorcing the outcome? Am I marrying the process and divorcing the outcome? Am I becoming 1% better every single day by marrying this process, not knowing what the result is going to be? not knowing what the result is going to be. You might not know what the result is going to be. It might not happen in 30 days. It might not happen in 60 days. It might not happen in 90 days. It might not happen in 6 months. But it'll never happen if you keep focusing on the result and not marrying the process. Because as you marry the process, you're going to become better and better and better and better every single day. Number 7, seventh reasons why entrepreneurs fail and how to avoid it is that they do not mind hack. Write that down. They do not mind hack. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about this. When you think about a simple mind hack, okay? Every day by accident, a lot of people are getting mind hacked and they don't even understand it. Every single day, people are getting mind hacked and they don't even understand it. I don't know the last time that I looked at the news, because the news is a mind hack. It's a mind hack. They don't tell us everything that's really, truly going on. They tell us the things that are going to get them ratings. Period. It's a mind hack. See, if you look at the news at 11 o'clock at night before you go to bed, bad idea. Bad idea. Because I don't care where you live. I don't care where you live. The very first 10 minutes of the news is all negative. Who got shot? Who got killed? Who got raped? Blah, blah, blah. All these negative things. You're actually inserting 10, or all you wanted to see was the weather. If you knew the weatherman was going to come on at 11:13 or 11:16 or 11:19, why not cut it on at 11:19 and just look at the weather? Or why not just go to Google and type in Tampa weather, Missouri weather, Atlanta weather, and avoid the first 10, 15 minutes of this mind hack anyway? You see, I want you all to do me a favor. And this is going to be scary for some, because some people aren't going to do it. But here's a mind hack for you right now. Let's say that you've got 4 televisions in your home right now. And let's say you've got 4 55-inch TVs in your home right now. You have 4 55-inch TVs in your home right now. 55 times 4 is 220. So you have 220 inches of mind hacking devices in your home. If you do not have 220 books, 220 audios on the topics that you're trying to become the best at, you have too many televisions. Period. You need to take that crap to the pawn shop, drop it off, sell one. But said, my daughter needs a television. But said, my son needs a television. This, that. You're right. They maybe, but they're being mind hacked too. You let them be mind hacked on video games. 8 hours. Do you really think it's healthy for a kid to do video games for 10 hours a day? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. And it's a shooting game for 8-10 hours a day. There's nothing healthy about that. Then you wonder why these kids do crazy stuff when they turn 17, 18, 19 years old. They were mind hacked in a freaking video game. We're being mind hacked on Netflix. We're being mind hacked on Amazon Prime. We're being mind hacked on the news. What happens if you shift that? I remember a mentor taught me this like 20 years ago. He said, I want you to cut the TV off for 30 days. Don't even look at it for 30 days. Don't look at it all. And on day number 31, I want you to tell me how you feel. And it was crazy. It was crazy, because back then I was looking at a lot of TV. Now, some of y'all are going to say, but Sid, there's a TV behind you right now in your freaking chimney, blah, blah, blah. Ask me how many times I turn it on, though. Ask me how many times I turn it on. It looks pretty back there. It really does. It really, really does. That thing gets cut on when I get company. I don't ever look at this TV in this kitchen when I'm here working. Ever. Did he say ever? Ever. It gets cut on when there's company. That's it. But I also have hundreds of books and hundreds of audios. See, how are you mind hacking yourself, or are you allowing other things to mind hack you? Another way that you can actually cheat the game when it comes down to a self-inflicted mind hack. In order to cheat the game, let's talk about cheating the game real quick. And I ain't talking about cheating on your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. No, let's cheat the game. Let's not act like I was the only person that cheated in high school, because some of y'all did. And some of y'all need to pop on the screen and let me know that, yeah, I cheated too. You see, I'm 46 years old and I still haven't used algebra yet. But I cheated in high school. I cheated. I needed to pass that freaking grade. I cheated. Okay, I don't know why they was teaching us all this history stuff. I have no idea. I haven't used it today. I cheated. Christopher Columbus didn't freaking discover America. How do you discover something when people are already there? Really? They were already there. How do you discover it? You didn't discover anything. But that's a whole nother conversation. Easy mind hack. At night when you go to bed. At night when you go to bed. Take a headset. Go to Audible. Download one of your favorite books. Download one of your favorite books. A personal development book. Some sort of personal development book. There's a gazillion of them. Download that every night when you go to sleep. Put the headsets in your ear. Go to sleep to that. What's going to happen is that information is being embedded in your subconscious mind. If you listen to Jim Rohn for 45 minutes a night while you're going to sleep, 3.5 weeks later, you're going to start sounding like Jim Rohn. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. If you are listening to Napoleon Hill every single night for 30 minutes a night before you go to bed, like you just drift off into it, 3.5 weeks later, you're going to start sounding like Napoleon Hill, because it's instituted inside of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is what runs your life. If you don't believe me, here. How many of you have ever had a bad dream before? Everybody. Everybody had Freddy Krueger chasing them in their dream, Michael Myers chasing them in their dream. Something crazy happened in their dream. You woke up, you smacked your husband by accident, you smacked your girlfriend by accident, you woke up in a freaking cold sweat, something happened, right? You was like, oh, I'm so glad that was a dream. I'm so glad that was a dream. That was your subconscious mind. So if your subconscious mind can create bad dreams without you having any control over it, what can your subconscious mind do when you start to control it? Ooh. If your subconscious mind can have bad dreams at night without you having any control over it, what can your subconscious do when you have control over it? Some of y'all ain't hearing me right now. Last bar I'm going to give you today, which is a bonus one. Because I said 7, I'm going to give you 8. Last one. And I apologize again for all the technical difficulties. Another reason why entrepreneurs fail and how to avoid it is that they thrive for the approval of others. They thrive for the approval of others. This is scary. This is scary. Let me tell you a story. You know, I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Where I'm from, how we grew up, nobody knew you had money unless you wore it with your clothes, your jewelry, or you drove it. We grew up as pharmaceutical salespeople. So everybody around us that had money, that was in the game, they wore it. It was through jewelry or they drove it. So when I made my first $1 million when I was 27 years old, 9 years prior being in jail for selling drugs, I thought the way to prove to my friends and my relatives that I had money was to drive it and to wear it and to buy fancy stuff. So that's what I did. Hey, there's 7 days in a week. I must need 7 cars. Let's have a car for every day of the week. There's Monday, there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, there's Thursday, there's Friday, there's Saturday, there's Sunday. You know what happened that changed my life dramatically? It was crazy. I moved to Florida in 2003. And I had so many cars that I had to get a couple of them delivered. And a couple of us were driving, following from Virginia all the way to freaking Florida. And as 2 of them were getting delivered in front of my old job, the trailer pulls up. He's pulling down. my Mercedes, and he's pulling down this BMW M5. And my old boss walks outside. And he said, how many cars do you freaking have? And I said, 7. And I looked at him with a smile. And he said, that's interesting. He said, ask me how many cars I got. I said, Bill, how many cars do you have? He said, I've got 2. He said, you know what else I have? I said, what? He said, I have $399 million more than what you have. And he walked back into the building. Jap slap. Because what he was telling me was, and he said one more thing that I want to share with you. He said, you don't have all these cars because you like cars. You got all these cars because you like the look that you get at the light with the newest car. You like the attention that you get with the newest car, with the flashy rims, with this, with that. He was like, us here in Florida that really got money, you don't even know we got it. I've never in my life seen so many people in network marketing that are broke but look like they got it. I have never in my unequivocal life have seen so many people that have allowed Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all this social media stuff to have them spend beyond their limits to look like someone that they really aren't. I've got this philosophy for men and women. So here, because I don't want anybody to separate it and think that I'm targeting anything. If you have a $10,000 purse and you don't have a credit card with a $10,000 limit and a zero balance, you shouldn't have a $10,000 purse. If you have a $10,000 purse and you don't have $10,000 cash to put your hands on at any given moment that you can just burn for no reason, you shouldn't have a $10,000 purse. But my husband bought me that. Okay, well, let me shift over to your husband then. Does your husband have $10,000 at any moment that he can burn without thinking about it? Without thinking about it. Can your husband or your boyfriend go to the car lot and not think about, should I buy this car? Shouldn't I buy this car? Should I buy this car? Shouldn't I buy this car? Should I buy this car? Shouldn't I buy this car? It's 20% of your net worth. Why are you buying it? It's 30% of your net worth. Why are you buying it? I like to call it little pee-pee syndrome. Why are you buying it? You are showing off for who and for what? What do you have to prove? You know, social media's got us proving stuff to people that we don't even like. Oh, did you get that? Am I clear enough for you? Social media has us shining and showing off for people that we don't even really like. See, y'all got the raw version when it came down to me. I don't know who's coming behind me, but I got a pretty good feeling that it's not going to be as raw. Because I'm going to punch you in the throat and tell you how it is. I'm going to give it to you the right way. Because guess what? You can look a certain way all the time. You can look a certain way as you choose. What does your bank account say? Can you leave a legacy for your kids? Can you take care of your parents? You know, I'm looking at buying a piece of land next door to me, and the neighbor said, why do you want the land so bad? I said, because I told my parents that I would never put them in a nursing home, ever. If they took care of me when I was young, I am not going to allow them to be 85, 90 years old in a nursing home with kids that grew up in this bopper stage, that grew up in this city girl stage. I am not going to allow kids to take care of my parents that do not care about my parents. They don't care about them. They've got 300 other patients in that nursing home, 400 other patients in that nursing home. They don't care. If you've got 60 nurses in there, you are lucky to have 5 of them that really actually care. You are lucky. I'm not going to roll those types of dice with my parents' life. That's why I want it that bad. So no matter what, through hell or high water, when it's time for my parents to move, to be taken care of, they with me. They're going to be in Florida. Now, they might not be living in the same house with me because my mama's still my mama, my daddy's still my daddy. You know, they still got their tendencies, right? You're going to always be kids. But they're going to be a rock throw away from me. They're going to be a golf cart ride away from me. They're going to be a 4-wheeler ride away from me. They're going to be through the freaking bushes away from me. Because along the way, while we're out here buying this and buying that and looking a certain way. And, oh, I got to have this chain. I got to have a $300,000 watch. I got to do this. I got blah, 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 blah. For what? They all tell the same freaking time. I don't even have a watch on. What do I care? I got some watches. Some of y'all gonna say, well, you got a 400-gallon fish tank behind you. I sure do, but I can freaking afford it. I can afford it too. But I ain't walking around my house flossing on everybody. People have to remember. What are your goals? Who are you trying to prove something to? You should be focused on proving something to yourself. Now, I'm not saying don't go out and get nice stuff. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, are you doing it for the approval of other people? Because if you got to post it every time you're doing it for the approval of other people. And don't act like you aren't, because you are. If you have to post it every single time, you need a cosign. You need somebody to tell you, good, that's awesome. Great job. You're doing well. Nice car, nice boat, nice jewelry, nice this, nice that, blah, 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 blah. What did we do before social media? What did you post in? Who was your psychiatrist before social media? Because everybody's throwing up on the internet right now. Who was your psychiatrist then? We have to be smart. We have to be smart and understand how the world moves. And as entrepreneurs, it's our job to solve problems. So if it's our job to solve problems, we've got to be smart enough to say, you know what? I see this problem. This is a problem. How do I actually help solve this problem? Somebody has to talk about it, because most people won't. I remember so many networking leaders all the time just tell me, you can't sell a dream looking like a nightmare. How many of y'all heard that? You can't sell a dream looking like a nightmare. I know people that look like a nightmare before, but they don't look like a nightmare now. And they were selling a dream. They didn't go out there. They didn't need everything Louis Vuitton. They didn't need everything Gucci. Majority of the time, you have to constantly be wearing somebody else's name is because you don't know your freaking own. Majority of the time, you have to wear somebody else's name is because you don't know your freaking own. I was at a club in Atlanta, Georgia about a month ago. Sweet Lounge. One of my good friends, Tori Thomas, he owns the club, okay? Every time I go to Atlanta, I got to go hang out with my man, Tori, at Sweet Lounge. So I'm in Sweet Lounge, and we're in the VIP section, and, you know, we doing our thing, and we standing on the sofas. You know, because he's the owner of the club, I mean, everybody's always coming up to him, talk to him, blah, blah, blah. But he spent the whole night with me because that's my man's. And there was a young lady, right? It was like 2 days before I went to Nordstrom's and I bought these shoes. And they looked like kind of like golf shoes. Right? They were I forgot the name of them. There's like nothing fancy. They were like $180 or something, but they were like nothing fancy, but they were comfortable. I'm getting older. Like, I got nice shoes too, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, like, they were comfortable. And I wasn't trying to impress nobody at the club. I wasn't trying to pick up no woman. I was going there to hang out with my boy. And as we're standing on the couch, this young lady that was in the VIP section with us, she looked at my shoes and she said, those look like the kind of shoes that my boss actually wear. And I looked at her and I started laughing. And she said, what's funny? I said, because I don't know if that was a compliment or a downgrade. I said, but either way, I didn't wear them for you, sunshine. How about that? How you like them apples? She was like, oh, yeah. I didn't wear them for you. I don't care what you like. That's what you like. I'm not here for you. And as I leave the club, 2 o'clock in the morning, make my way back to the hotel because I had a speaking engagement the next day, I saw her trying to start her car that wouldn't start. She worried about my shoes. And she got a car that can't even start as I get into the Uber. Ladies and gentlemen, I say all this to say this. Do not do things for the approval of others. That's an entrepreneurial trap. Do not live outside of your means for the approval of others. Do not become part of the Joneses for the approval of others to look like somebody that you really aren't. Do not spend all out of your means because you think that the only way that I'm going to attract certain people is because of what I show, what I wear, blah, blah, blah. No, where I'm from, that's what gets you robbed. And there's a lot of people that are in this industry that would never say it, that then got hit by the best of them. Because no matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter what kind of security that you have, there is always somebody better than you. Always. And people right now are hungry. They are hungry. So you got to be smart. You got to learn to move in a certain way. And I'm going to end it with this. My mentor taught me something a long time ago that still rings true. And I want this to let this sizzle in your spirit, in the words of Country Wayne. He said, rich is loud, wealth whispers. Rich is loud, wealth whispers. Take that for however you want it. If there's anybody that got offended by the last 10 minutes of what I was saying, that's your issue, not mine. You deal with your inner demons. That's your issue. Because if anything I said offended you, that means that there's something that I said that was right. But you might not want to face it. That's totally up to you. With that being said, Andy Miguel, I'm going to pass the ball back over to you, being that we finally got through the rest of this without interruption. And hopefully some people got some value out of this. And I apologize about all the technical difficulties. I have no idea what's going on with my computer over here, but I just went through a reboot and hopefully. So thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, amazing, Cedrick. Thank you very much. You hope people got value out of it. Oh my God, you had somebody in tears. They admitted to being in tears when you were talking about kryptonite and at the start. Oh my God, that is just incredible, guys. Anybody on the call, wherever you happen to be listening, and we're all over the place, please, just give some love back to Cedrick. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm thank you for coming back and persevering, and because I knew the ending was going to be tumultuous, and we're so glad that you managed to do that.